Good evening, this is Rodney with the Triton Wave Market Outlook for Thursday, April 18th, 2013. Okay, since the last update, which was Sunday night, there have been 3 days of trading. I think I mentioned to you that on the left-hand chart here, when the ES went above zero for 1 day on the short wave on T1, that I wasn't too concerned about it, even though it was popping up to here, because it was very, very shallow, and what I was looking at was the activity that was going on the 21, which quickly negated what was going on the daily chart. So I basically ignored it, and I played. I'll show you the stock that I played in concert with this move going straight down. So let me see what a target here for. Well, let's look at this a little bit more closely. We had a triple digit move, first down, then up, then down, and now we're sitting here at, it's actually morning, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning. And the reason I'm so late doing this was because I was involved with a gold trade that I could not take my eyes off of. And I'll show you what happened there also. So basically, what I've been saying for a long time is that you really have to watch this sloping trend line on T1, and this is as this has been moving up, this has been sloping down very gradually, and then even a steeper slope, and now an even steeper slope. And I was cautioned about something like this happening. I've been cautioning everyone for weeks now. Well, now the 8 and the 21 is about to cross, and not only do I think that the 13, this is the 55 period, this is the 55 exponential moving average, this is the 89. I think we have a good shot at coming right down to 1509 right here. Just hitting this before there's any serious bounce, and that would be, you know, another day down, maybe another 2 days down. Thursday might be a good day for that to happen, because there's option expiration on Friday, monthly option expiration, and we could see some wild things flying. Okay, on the right hand chart, when this on the daily, when this was moving up to the highs, which is in concert with this 21-minute move, it was crossing below zero here. The next day, that was just at the end of the day. The next day, T2 went down, then T3, T4, and T5. So when it gets this little kind of blip up here, I tend to basically ignore those little blips, and what I'll do is I'll go and do a Fibonacci retracement. If I see a blip like this, I'll do a Fibonacci retracement from the top, and it happens that it's right in between the 50% and the 618, so that is actually a perfect entry point, especially if you break this down and we go to the, let's take a look at the 40, let me see, this is the 4181 tick chart. So when this was peaking, okay, on the left, let me get an arrow so you can see what I'm talking about here. All right, so when this was coming up right here, this was the little blip on the 21-minute chart, and this was the blip right here. Okay, so if you're looking at the 4181 tick chart on the ES, you get the move, you get to play this move up here at about 1547 all the way up to 1570. So that's a nice move. And then T1 and then T2 cracks, and you've got plenty of space of time to get in here. You've got like 5 to 7 point ES move to get in, and you can take advantage of it all the way down until it pops back up again down here. It's not that, it's not rocket science. All right, let's take a look at, because I thought the market was going down, I mentioned that I liked, get a bigger map here. Okay, I mentioned that I liked Goldman Sachs on the downside because I liked on the daily what it was doing. Oops, I got the wrong one here. On the daily what it was doing here, and again confirmed right here. Now it did take a little pop right in here, but you can follow that pop on, let me see, that pop goes all, well, let's look at the 21, you can see it better. Okay, when this popped up here, right off of the 89 exponential moving average, it was on April 5th, and that was, April 5th is right here on the 21 minute, and that brings you T1, T1, T2, T3, T4, and they're all before the opening. This actually goes up before the opening of the next day, and it's confirmed on T5, and you're already kind of like up here on T5, but you're down here on T4. So you could actually have taken advantage of that from 141 up to 150 because it completely goes below zero on T2 right in here. So you would have missed, like 1 or 2 points from the top. So right now, what happened with Goldman was, especially since they came out with earnings yesterday, or before the earnings were announced. Let me show you what happened on. Let me see here. Okay, this is today's trading right in here. Oops, let me see here. Okay, before this was yesterday's trading before the earnings were announced, and that's not a healthy outlook for earnings that are going to be coming out by a major bank. So I looked at this downtrend, and I decided to ignore all these little blips to the upside because the major wave down below, the dark blue one down below on T5 was below zero the whole time. So this is, as a result, what happened. We got a move on, and this is a 144 tick chart. We got it popped up to like 140, I think 145. It was about like a point and a half above on a pop this morning, and then straight down to hit 138 and change, and then you can see that T2 popped above zero. On this 144s, you can basically, most of the time, ignore T1 because they're way too sensitive. So T2 popped above, T3 popped above, T4 confirmed it. And even I did not ride this up, but I covered my position when I saw especially T3 going up. So I cut most of this, and it was a great trade. And option expiration is on Friday, so I closed out the position. Now, the trade is not done. That trade is done, but basically because of the strength of the downside on Goldman Sachs and what these waves are doing, like everything is below zero here. Whoops. All of this is below zero, so there's no way that I'm going long on this. And T1 and T2 are below zero. The last 3 trading days, T3, the short wave on T3 is going below zero, and these are headed in a negative way. So I basically just rolled this right over. I was looking for this to come back a little bit, and I'll show you what I was looking for. I was looking for this to come back up to 142 or the 377 exponential moving average, and it just kissed it, and I actually got back in the May options right when it kissed that line. So let's take a look at Apple and see if there's any see if Apple's worth a trade here. I'm going to go to the 987 and AAPL. Let's see if that populates. I don't know if I like the 987. Let's do the 1590. Hang on one second. All right, so here's Apple. 8 and the 21 crossed way back on April 1st, and this has kind of been hanging up a little bit here on the upside. But I mentioned that even though this was climbing and then this was descending a little bit, that I was not impressed with the lack of activity to the upside on Apple, and I suggested that the next move was going to be to the downside. Look how flat this is, and T3, T2, T3, T4, and T5 are buried below zero. So I was looking for my cues on the 21-minute, which are consistently below zero, and actually this has been below zero all the way since the beginning of April. So even though this came up a little bit, the long wave stayed down. So I was looking for my cues on that, and then I noticed on the 610, this is today's chart. Actually, that's not a good one. Let me do a 987 on that one. Okay, the 987, you would have to have taken a position already when on the daily when it came up and kissed the 8-period moving average, 8-period exponential moving average, because that was here on this move up at the end of the day yesterday, or this was let me see. This is all this little mark in here. That's surprising. Okay, I didn't realize how little activity there was. This little mark here is yesterday, and this is all of today. So it's major activity. And the reason is because it broke down below this level here. So yesterday I suggested that it will break down and it'll hit it'll hit the next exponential moving average, which was 393. So it came down to 398 and then bounced up and closed at 402. So it doesn't look like this is going to be much, like 393 is going to be much of a challenge. I don't know. Here's the next number. So look for it to come down. It may bounce up a little bit, but I don't think you're going to get more than 14, 14, 15 out of this. I mean 414 or 415. Be lucky if you get that. But if you do, if you're able to get that, let me see here. If you're able to get a little bit of move to the upside, like 50% of this candle, which would put you at about 410, so that's about an 8-point move. Then, or you can just watch the waves to decide. But it looks like this just wants to come down to, like, the next level is 308. As hard as that is for to believe, but keep in mind that there are going to be some margin calls on people who hold this stock, and if it drops below 400, there's going to definitely be a panic flush in this market, and not only is it going to panic Apple, but it's going to panic the stock market. Um, so we are in for 20 and 30 point moves on the S&P. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Let's see what we did in gold. In gold, we on Friday we captured almost all of that. On Monday, is this Monday? Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yeah. On Monday, it already opened up. It opened right in here, and I was looking for a place to get in, hoping that there would be a little bit of a bounce. But this sucker just went straight down, and I'm not going to chase a falling knife. I want to wait till it's a little bit calm. It's kind of like trying to chase a psychotic through a cornfield with a knife in his hand. You just don't want to do that too often. And I've done that. When I worked with emotionally disturbed adolescents, I had to do that one night, and it scares the living crap out of you. So I was not going to chase this down. So what I did instead was wait till it calmed down a little bit, waited for the bounce, and tonight, around just before the close, right about in here, at 13:51 Central Time, right in there, T1 on the 4181 came down below zero, and I knew once that came down that it was going to bounce a little bit, and I waited for the cross between the 8 and the 21. So I got everybody in between 1377 and 1380, and then this thing cracked for 40 points in the next, I don't know, it didn't take too long. Let me see, that happened at 5:14 Central Time and ended at 8 o'clock. So right now we're on a tear to the upside. You can see this is a live chart, and it's still down $4.80, but it was down. You can see the numbers down here. It was down to 1335. So I am looking for a place to get back in this. That's all I have. If you, I do, as many of you know, I do gold for private clients, so I can't tell you which way it's going to go until the waves tell me, and if you're on my list, I will tell you. Well, have a good evening, and good luck trading. You can get in touch with me. I am Rodney Julian. You can get in touch with me at tritonwaveguy@gmail.com. And see you at the next update.